Well, it was a wild week 7 in college football. Colorado fans hoping this would be their year, but their loss to Kansas State. They also lost Heisman hopeful two-way star Travis Hunter and an injury in the second quarter. Deion Sanders now 1-6 against top 25 teams. That is not where you want to be. So the Buffs, they would need considerable help to make the new look 12-team field this year. To the game that I was on the sidelines for this weekend, Penn State rallied to beat USC in overtime. A huge game from their tight end, Tyler Warren. We're on the other side of the United States. We got half the stadium in white, and we love them. Let me tell you, it was loud in there, and it was the Penn State fans that were going nuts. 17 catches, 244 yards, and a score. The Nittany Lions now up to number 3 in the AP poll. Coming in at number 2, it's the Oregon Ducks. They won an instant classic in Eugene last weekend, defeating Ohio State 32-31. It was the Ducks' highest-ranked regular season win in program history. Our Josh Pate making the news, saying Autzen is the loudest stadium in the Big Ten. A lot of people had some words about that one. So where does that leave us? All right, week 7 in the books, those college football playoff chances, changing week by week. As of right now, so it's Oregon, Penn State, and Texas with a 95.5% chance to make the college football playoffs. And we will continue to track this as we get going. Our college football analyst, Brad Crawford, joining us now. So 3 weeks from tonight, Brad, I can't believe that. Election Day, and the selection committee will announce its first of 6 rankings in the college football playoffs. Who do you have nailed down for those 4 teams getting in as conference champs, and of course those 4 teams getting the bye as well?
Yeah, that's going to be an exciting Tuesday night when those first rankings are revealed. I think right now the top seed for me is Texas as my projected SEC champion. Ohio State projected Big Ten champion as the 2 seed despite the loss to Oregon. Number 3, I'm going with Clemson over Miami right now. I think the Tigers are just hotter in that conference. Cade Klubnik is playing very well at quarterback. Clemson there as the 3 seed. And the 4 seed, BYU Cougars. One of the lone unbeatens with Iowa State in the Big 12. BYU right now, nobody picked this team to be anywhere near the top 15, much less ranked. And here we are, 6-0 BYU through midseason. So those are my 4 teams, Texas, Ohio State, Clemson, and BYU at the midseason point.
All right, midseason point, still many more weeks to be played. And as of right now, if you look at the rankings, those aren't the top 4 that would technically be in it. So I love that you're going a little off kilter there on some of it. Now, I got to ask about the group of 5 as well. Right now, Boise State is on everyone's mind, but we also have UNLV, Army, Navy, just to name a few. So where's your head at as we prepare for week 8 and we kind of put a stamp on the halfway point of the season for the college football playoff?
Yeah, I think Heisman frontrunner Ashton Jeanty right now at Boise State, the star running back, he's must-see TV, and they would be my 12 seed as the G5 champion if the season ended today. I think Boise State has a tough game ahead against UNLV here in 2 weeks, but they're probably going to win that. Army, Navy, obviously both those unbeaten service academies play Notre Dame. And then you have Liberty, still unbeaten. No one's talking about Jamie Chadwell's team, but the schedule's not good enough. So right now, Boise State, despite that one loss to Oregon, that setback looks pretty good because Oregon's still unbeaten and ranked number 2. Broncos would be my G5 favorite.
I love this new expansion of the playoff because we were able to talk about this stuff throughout this season. And also, like college basketball, we can now discuss, first 4 out. So I want to get your perspective on who's on the bubble right now.
Yeah, the 4 teams that really need to play well these next 2 or 3 weekends, it would be LSU for me.
Anyone good?
It would be LSU for me. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm getting a breaking news call during the live. So it would be LSU. Probably going to be one of those double-digit SEC teams that is on the outside looking in. They play Alabama in a couple weeks, obviously have a big game. They just won against Ole Miss. You've got Army. If Army finishes 11-1, the only loss to Notre Dame, there's going to be some Black Knights fans that are kind of pounding on the selection committee's door to get in that mix. I don't think it'll be good enough because I've got Boise State as that G5. Then you've got Iowa State. They're my projected Big 12 runner-up. Iowa State right now is one of 2 unbeatens in the Big 12, BYU being the other. That's a huge matchup potentially here in a few months. And then the 4th team out is Missouri. Missouri has a chance this weekend against Auburn as a slight favorite to improve to 6-1, but Missouri's a team that just hasn't been explosive enough offensively to warrant my projection right now in the playoff.
All right, we want to toss your bracket up there, and I want you to break it down for us. The first round of games, let's get it going. And I want you to give us a little rundown of how you think this is going to play out.
Sure, yeah. Alabama-Miami would be a heck of a first-round matchup in the 11-6 game. Alabama basically gets my last team in title as the 11 seed ahead of the auto-bid lowest-ranked conference champion. The next few weeks are pivotal for Kellen DeBoer's team. They play Tennessee Saturday night, then Missouri, then LSU. I think as long as Alabama goes 2-1 over the next 3 weeks, they're going to get in as a 10-2 at-large. And then you have Miami. They are my 12-1 ACC runner-up. So the next round is Notre Dame, Georgia, the second first-round game. Notre Dame is the 10 seed. The selection committee will do everything they can to avoid the same conference playing against one another. So that's why I have Notre Dame there and not A&M. That's going to cause a stir because A&M lost that game head-to-head. Then you have Georgia as the SEC's runner-up getting that 7 seed. And then you have Boise State, Oregon, a great 12-5 matchup. You know Dan Lanning and that Oregon defense would hate to see a potential Heisman winner in Ashton Jeanty in that first round. And as the 5 seed, viewers can kind of use the process of elimination to see that I have the Ducks finishing as the runner-up in the Big Ten. In the 9-8 game, Aggies at Penn State, guaranteed whiteout in the first round of the playoffs in Happy Valley. Texas A&M schedule the rest of the way in the second half is super favorable. LSU and Texas are the only ranked teams that Mike Elko and the Aggies got to face.
All right, break us down. Next up, the quarterfinals. Who's going to be in the semis?
Yeah, quarterfinals, a rematch of college football playoff 4-team past. It's Alabama-Clemson. Clemson right now is my ACC favorite. Cade Klubnik, quarterback, 21 touchdowns, 1 turnover his last 5 starts since losing. I've got Clemson winning that game. Another quarterfinal, Georgia against Ohio State. We saw that game a couple years ago as well. Marvin Harrison Jr. got knocked out late in that game. Georgia came back and won. Ohio State wins the rematch. 5-4, you've got Oregon, BYU. I've got Oregon in that game. BYU's schedule this season, while they're going to be impressive as an unbeaten, I think Oregon likes that Boise State first round, BYU second round matchup. And then the last quarterfinal matchup is Penn State against my projected SEC champion, Texas. And I had the Longhorns, uber talented team, moving on.
Oh, this is going to be fun. Okay, so we got Clemson, Ohio State, and Oregon, Texas. Who's going to the Natty?
Yeah, I almost went all chalk in the Final Four, but Oregon did make it to 5 seed. But Clemson, Ohio State, we saw that game a couple years ago out in Phoenix. Ohio State wins this one. Too much talent, and Clemson's schedule is going to come back to haunt them, I think. And then Oregon, Texas in the other game. Ducks versus the Longhorns. SEC champion Texas moves on to a great final game.
Pretty chalky, gotta admit it, but that's the way college football goes sometimes. And your national champion is?
Yeah, Ryan Day's going to save his job, but Texas is going to win the championship. They're just too talented. Top defense in the country right now. And we might even see Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning play in that final game. But I was very impressed with Texas over the weekend. They made freshman Michael Hawkins at Oklahoma, their star quarterback there, look human. Quinn Ewers did not play all that well, but that Texas defense, man, it just gets after you. Anthony Hill, sophomore linebacker, is playing like the 5-star signee that he was last season. And the running game, despite having lack of depth right now, is really paying off. So Texas right now looks like college football's only elite team.
So much talent on that team. Brad Crawford, thanks for breaking it all down for us.